Tonight's show is brought to you by Ventura Training and Athletics. Restore, train, maintain. Specializing in the restoration of the muscular system to help you move and feel better. Combating TBI, PTSD, and pain through specialized strength training. Again, get your body right, get your mind right, defeat the demons.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, and Joe. Today's special guest is Danny, a pogue who became a pilot to fly real warriors around.
Hey, what up, Trash Talkers? Happy Sunday today. We were kind of delayed with our episode yesterday. No big deal. We were shooting a movie, and that's kind of what we do. Today I'm drinking 10th Mountain Distillery, and also shout out to them as well. Hope everybody tunes in, watches this episode. Special guest today, our Danny. He flies shit. I don't know exactly what he flies, but he's going to tell us about it. And, of course, I'm here with Nick, Joe, and Buddy, who's got a lot of stuff to say again, apparently. And, yeah, I'm kind of excited about that one. So, over to you, Joe.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Good to see everybody here. What's up, Danny? Buddy, quit moving around.
Can't go in his house.
Sit down, buddy. Sit down.
Buddy, sit
I just
down.
went in the house, Joe. You told me to
Get
go
out.
in the house. I went in the house.
Somebody put a
It does
bell on
what
him,
it's
please.
told.
Yeah. Maybe it's that fist of Levi Garrett he's got in his cheek that's throwing him off balance. No. Hey, listen, I don't really have a soapbox, man. I just thought it was great to see all the whiners and the criers get what they needed for their whiny cry Sunday fuel, which is American football. God, it was beautiful to see the NFL come back. Boycott them if you like. We're not gonna. But
No.
that also brings me to my next point, which is the Book of Earl and Joe prediction is 1 weekend and looks pretty good. Cam Newton, only a couple rushing scores, led the Patriots, has them rolling. So we'll see what everybody says when they start out at 8-0. Maybe then they'll start making excuses for why we were right on that one. But also, I'm going to do a little football review, and why not start off with our home division, the NFC North. It was great to see everything return to normalcy, which wasn't even so much the Packers, which we'll get to that. And Aaron Rodgers did look like MVP. Aaron Rodgers was unbelievable today. I think he threw for 404 and 0 picks. But also, the Detroit Lions reminded everybody from Detroit exactly who they were in classic Detroit Lions fashion, giving up a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter with 21 unanswered points to lose 27-3. 27-23. At home. Yeah, it was beautiful. Actually, DeAndre Swift dropped a touchdown-winning pass with 2 seconds to go, so that was perfect. That was perfect Lions form. So thanks for getting back into shape, boys. And like my late grandfather said, you can dress some sons of bitches up any way you want. They're still the damn Detroit Lions. Anyways, also, which brings me to the Packers game, and I couldn't help but watch as Aaron Rodgers chewed through a Minnesota Vikings defense and think how disappointed in my good friend Nick Earl I am that he hasn't once – I mean, I can't believe with the kind of fan he is, he hasn't introduced our friend Dave to Aaron Rodgers yet. Or me, as a matter of fact. You know, I mean, Dave brought it up on a trip. We didn't know he felt this way. And, I thought about it, and it's a dick move, Nick. Why haven't you introduced us to Aaron Rodgers?
Again, I tweeted him. He didn't respond. I'm going to try again tomorrow, but it's probably
Well, you're trying to
gonna be the
teach
same
Dave
thing.
about football,
Racist.
and you won't even let him see the resources that you have at your disposal. I mean, it's obvious. You and Aaron Rodgers are friends. You got the jersey on.
For Nick, is it Aaron Rodgers or just Aaron? I thought it was just Aaron.
I think he
Yeah.
calls him Aaron.
He calls him Hero. He calls
Yeah,
him Hero.
I just call him homie. We're on that kind of thing. What's up,
Or the
homie?
NorCal Vajayjay, but then we'll keep that one quiet in case he's listening.
Yeah, like I guess we keep talking about football a little bit, but yeah, Aaron Rodgers. They said he did some type of spiritual stuff this offseason because I've been mad at Aaron Rodgers for the last decade when he's just been wasting NFC Championship games away. I'm like, stop pouting. Like you're the best. You're maybe Warren Moon threw a better spiral than you, but that's about it. I'm like you're you're the best thrower of the football of all time, and you're pouting. Stop pouting. Like, be a leader. So he smiled all day today and just threw lasers. So whatever
That
streak got
laser
hold of
beam he
him,
threw to Adams was insane.
so like I said, whatever shrink he's talking to, we got to get them to. I'll introduce you to them, Dave, if I can find out who the hell they are. And then
Please do, man. Please do. Okay. I need to talk to him.
Anyways, it was good to see football. It was beautiful to see all these people want to turn it into something political, and that's honestly, it makes me laugh because we're still going to watch football. If football's on, we're watching it. You know, be an American, eat a steak. Let's go. But that is all I got. It was great to see football. Nick, you're still holding out on Dave, and you need to introduce him to some of the Packers you obviously know. But I'm going to turn it over to Buddy, and floor is yours, bud.
Hey guys, how's it going? First of all, I know Dave is drinking the 10th Mountain Distillery. Which one is that you're drinking? You're drinking the Bullet, isn't it? Which one is it?
Yeah, that's the bourbon.
Yeah, the bourbon. Well, I had an issue. I tried this Alpine Glow, the
cordial. Yeah.
The cordial. And I think that we got a bad batch, and then I think you guys just need to send all of that. I'll taste it all. Just send it.
You'll take care of it for us. You'll take care of it.
And I'll make sure. I wouldn't want you guys to get poisoned. I know, Nick thinks that he's always getting picked on. That's why he got put in Charlie Company and had to go to all the bad missions. So, I got it. And because I was in Bravo Company for a little bit, I'll take the bullet. You just send it to me, and I'll make sure that none of you guys get sick.
Cheers to you, buddy. That's really nice of you, man.
Hey, that's what I do. That's what I do. I take care of the men. We got to take care of the men. While you guys are off gallivanting around making movies, I'll just be sitting here on the porch making sure you guys don't die. Anyway, honesty cap time. I was only going to hit one, but Dave's sitting there, and I feel like he needs this PSA, so I'm gonna hit that one first, and then we go. Joe talked about football is back. We're back in fall, and this really it's more of a PSA than an honesty cap. So I'm gonna skip the part where I talk about like the outfits that are about to start coming from the basic dude that's wearing he looks like he's got the skinny jeans, that he was like a lumberjack that hit a growth spurt, and it doesn't look good. You got the two types. You got the guys that got too much leg in there, and it looks like they're walking around on Nick's famous beer brats just shoved underneath their belly. And then you got the guy that has done upper body but has not seen a leg day in the gym in a hot minute. It's not a good look. Don't do that. Also, doesn't matter what your girlfriend, your wife, your mom, the Back to Future look with the vest jacket thing, don't do it. Are you cold or are you not cold? If it's only 50 degrees out, I don't think we have to worry about hypothermia making your core colder than area. I got to protect my core. Shut up. You look like an idiot. You don't own a DeLorean. Do not rock that look along with your flannel and your stupid, I don't know if it's like a religious symbol beanie cap where they just wear it on the back. Stop. Don't do it. Throw on a baseball cap, a sweatshirt, and some blue jeans and go do your shit. Other than that, calm down. Dave, also, I know that at some point you're going to go to the barber and he's going to pull those clippers out and start trying to hit that hard part. Just part your hair like a normal person. Stop the hard part. Just use a comb. It takes 2 minutes. Do your thing. Just get it straight. There's no reason to get it shaved in. Vanilla Ice. Everybody's
way better than Vanilla Ice, buddy. Way better.
Danny, how's that supposed to look again? Do it one more time.
Pay attention.
Pretty
Dave.
much.
You can't do that with your haircut. You can't do that. So
all right.
that looks
the second and the most real honesty cap. I had a conversation the other day with somebody, and we were talking about the promotion standards for E8s and E9s in the Army. And we were discussing it, and we were discussing the fact that it's become, at one point it was have an associate's degree if you can, go to schools, go to combat. Now it's go to schools, go to combat, must have a bachelor's degree and be working on a master's. In 5 years, must have a master's, must have schools, must have all this stuff. And that's great and all. But if I'm an E8 or an E9 and I've been to combat several times and I've got Ranger School, Pathfinder School, like all these other schools, and I have a master's degree, why the fuck am I working for you? Who's in charge? What are you going to tell? What the fuck are you going to tell me? Why do I need a master's degree to tell you that whatever plan you're coming up with is, why am I not making $6,000 more a month when I got more experience, more schools, and the same degree you have? Why are NCOs selling themselves so short? And why did we decide that we needed to be the commander's, like, Siamese twin attached at his hip, stuck on a computer or stuck beside the commander for every meeting? Most of us have been NCOs at one point. Danny, he sold his soul and went to kind of the other side. I don't really count warrant officers as real officers, though, because they know where they came from. So
Isn't that what you tried out for?
Yeah,
no. I just took the test. I was way too old to be a pilot. I was too old to be a pilot. I had to be a Ranger school.
He hit the left rudder instead of the right rudder, and it kicked him out.
Yeah, but I went from staff sergeant to warrant, which is like going to E4 with Patel.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But all of us have been in all of us know officers. When's the last time a damn officer made a decision on the spot for anything? Why does the damn sergeant major need to be in the meeting? So if the colonel makes a decision, I got to be there. No, you don't, because guess what he's not going to do ever? Make a decision right then. It ain't going to happen. We had a thing here the other day where the 04s had to go do a stress shoot. My question to them was, well, what's the stress shoot? Are they going to make you make a decision and then shoot your gun? Because that would be the most stressful thing you had to go through, is make a decision in 5 minutes. Because if that ain't the case, like, wait, I need to gather my staff and like some other people, and we got to have a committee that makes a decision. Nope, you got to make a decision right now. My heart rate's high. I can't do it. It'd be like an NCO doing 1,000 burpees and then trying to have to zero his rifle. Ain't going to happen. Anyway, that's all I got on the.
Hey, buddy. Before you introduce Danny, yeah, you're pretty right. But for the civilians that watch our podcast and hear our podcast and watch the show, so the 04s are majors, and what he's also discussing is the fact that they get paid significantly more because they are supposed to make decisions based off of planning and all the warfighting functions, and they like come up with a plan. Right, the non-commissioned.
Well, Nick, let's make sure we let them know. Like, there was a reason that officers had a degree at one point.
Because none of us
there
could
was
read.
a time in the Army when if you were an NCO, there was a pretty good chance you didn't know how to read or write.
Exactly.
We're not there anymore.
Yeah,
we're past.
I'll go into it after you introduce Danny, but I have a very similar story to that. And like I said, that book that I was going to write, I'll still write it because it's good. Everything I write is gold. So when I write it, it'll be awesome. But go ahead, buddy, and introduce our guest.
Hey, I got the distinct privilege to introduce Danny Bell. So Danny is a pilot over with the 160th. Right now, he flies MH-47s over at the 160th, which I'd love to tell you that, we met on a mission. It was late at night. I was fast roping off the back of his helicopter.
In the middle of Syria.
He put it in some kind of crazy autopilot. We went down. That's not how it happened. Well, that may be how it happened, but I can't tell you, Nick, because you don't have the clearance for all that. But the alibi way it happened, so I'm running the engineer section for 5th Group right now. We're building a hall of honors in our 5th Group, basically meeting area for Gold Star families to come in if anything happens, get their, it's a less formal place for them to get talked to and go through all of what's going on with them. And I saw a Facebook post that hopefully Danny talks about his site here in a minute, but saw a Facebook post where this guy is pouring about $3,000 worth of epoxy on what is probably the coolest conference table that I've ever seen in my life. No wolf cookies, and not trying to blow any smoke up anybody's ass, but that table is awesome. I keep looking and I realize that the guys in Clarksville, we need to get a conference table done too. Get in touch with them. Danny and his business partner, i.e. his wife, come by and we go through the project and start talking. And more and more, I realize that Danny is really a perfect fit for what we're doing here. He's on his way to get out, and he's been to a bunch of things that for veterans, and he's really into woodworking, and he's working his woodworking thing with veterans recovery and stuff like that. But we went through it, and like I said, I'll let Danny do more talking about him, but he's going to get shit talked here in a minute when we start talking about how while we were sucking in the hot or the cold, and then the CH-47 pilot comes walking out with his thermos and his plug to plug it into his flight plan into his helicopter, and all he does is pour his coffee and push buttons, and the aircraft basically flies itself at this point. I don't even know why they're there, really. But anyway, I digress. But before that, Danny's a great American doing God's work, and it's really a pleasure to have him on the show. Danny, go ahead and tell everybody what you're about.
Hey, cheers,
Danny. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no worries, man. Thanks for having me. What a fantastic introduction by Buddy. Yeah, we met dating on Facebook. He saw my video. He liked my stuff, and
that's also clearance stuff, Danny. You can't tell everybody that we dated.
It's a secret.
That's
fair enough. Also about the, I don't know what CH-47 pilots do either, because I'm not one. I was one, and then I went over to the dark side where we fly MHs. It's modified. But I can't get into that right now. I'm not even going to go there. Sorry I even mentioned it. We may have to go edit that. No, I got to Campbell here in 2006. I was a PV2. I was a sweaty, getting out there, getting after it. And but I was an aviation sweaty, so that's different. I went to Fort Jackson, which is it's like basic training from concentrate. It's not that pure organic stuff, but got out of there, went straight to Green Platoon here at Regiment, and then got out of that and immediately went to Sierra at Bragg with the homies, and that was cold.
Yeah. When did you go to Sierra, Danny? What month?
I went the end of January of 07.
Oh, gross. That's
so
gross.
It was terrible. The funny thing was my little brother was in the Q course at the time, and so we're out there and we're in the same line for Chow Hall. And I'm probably so my little brother, he's short and stocky, and I was tall and skinnier at the time, and he's blonde and I'm brown haired. We're not supposed to talk to each other, but I can hear him like 5 dudes behind me. So I'm just standing there in line, and I just turned around. I looked at him. I was like, "Hey man, you got a watch?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he takes his watch off and hands it to me, and I was like, "Thanks, dude." And I turned back around and just stood there in line, and all his buddies were like, "Who is this dude in line with you?" Like, so that was pretty neat. And anyway, so I got into the unit here. Started crewing on the 47, so I was a door gunner, for lack of a better term. Did that for 8 years. Went to flight school, and actually went to. I was telling Buddy I went to SFAS, and I tripped on a ruck, and I went ass over head, hurt my knee, and I was standing there at an obstacle, Nasty Nick, and I was trying to jump, and they were, doing the donkey kicks, and I could only do a donkey kick with one leg because they were just, candidate, do the exercise. So I got booted. I said that to say, it's funny. I've been in the Army 15 years, and I never really, I didn't get U.S. Army tattooed over my heart I just like, this was something I wanted to do. My dad was in the Army. I grew up in New Hampshire. So like we didn't learn about the Alamo. We learned about the Revolutionary War, and I focused on, being barrel chested, and I wanted to do my thing. 9/11 hit, and I took a few years to come in, but I came in 06. And, but I also was like, I also did other things in my life, and all that matters because later on, when I started having issues, I guess, my story is a PTSD related one. I've never been, I don't have a Purple Heart or anything, thank God. But
those are just enemy marksmanship badges anyway.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's why Buddy never left a wire. He didn't want one either.
Yeah, I don't have one either. Probably because the
probably because
he
didn't do anything.
Were bad.
Spades.
I would argue that it says more about the recipient of that award in Nick and Dave's
Mine was my big ears, That's what it is.
But
right.
Whatever.
So Danny, you brought up a good point before you go on to your PTSD story, which we all want to hear about because our audience loves hearing about it, and there's somebody listening that doesn't want to talk about it, and we give them the courage to do that. Kind of the point of the show. But you brought up a good point about how you learned about the Revolutionary War and not about the Alamo. And Buddy can contest this because he's from the South. The South has never really won anything. So, like, the Alamo is a great story, but they lost, right? They lost. And then, like, the Civil War.
Did they lose, or did they
lost.
Did they slow the enemy to the point that
they lost?
That some
Buddy.
Other general could come
right.
through and
you guys
make
still
Santa
have dirt
Ana
roads.
go to a point where he was fighting on land he didn't want to fight on. I don't know. I don't read history good because I'm from Alabama.
That's fine. That's fine that you don't read good. But again,
not to mention,
Danny has been able to progress further in the military because he follows winners. He's from the North. He's a winner, buddy. He's from the North. Danny's a winner. All right. You're from the South. You're a loser. Sherman burned your whole freaking country down, and you still have dirt roads.
What was Wisconsin doing during all that time?
They were winning. They were winning for the North. They're providing winning soldiers. Wisconsin's the birthplace of the Republican Party and also the Socialist Party. So it's a really fun state to be in, and we win a lot. I mean, we have the most football championships for NFL. And yeah, we do.
Not for college though.
Oh, don't forget cheese.
College.
Don't forget
Let's talk about Roll Tide.
Yeah.
Let's talk about little Alabama. Can we let Danny talk?
Don't forget sharp cheddar.
Back to Danny. Back to Danny.
Sorry. We got sidetracked. But Danny, go ahead.
You're good. It's good. It's good banter. No, I came to the Army and got wicked had doing good things from New Hampshire, and so all this crap ties in because I've always done woodworking. I did cabinet making right out of high school, and I just stuck with it in the Army. But I was having issues. My doctor was the psych. I finally kind of called uncle and went to the psych, and I was like, hey, I'm having some issues. And it was funny. I got to the point where I was actually almost non-functional before my wife actually made me. She's like, I was having migraines for like 3 days in a row, and it was just knocking me out. She's like, look, you got to go. I was having them for a couple of years and doing what we do. And I was like, whatever, push through it and just keep going. Cause you guys know the deal. If I call uncle, I'm just screwing him, like somebody else has got to take my place. It's not about, I can handle it, like whatever, but it's like, I don't want to screw my buddy. And that's what everybody does. So you push on. But I actually, as a pilot, I kind of got to the point where I realized that if I'm at risk, I was about to get evaluated to be what we call a FMQ, a fully mission qualified guy, which is like is the team leader of the helicopter, so to speak. He's the guy who's responsible for everybody on it. And if I was getting all jacked up and couldn't do my job, then I was a risk. So I finally kind of just called uncle anyway. And he was like, well, hey, what do you do for an outlet? And I was like, well, I used to rap and break dance, but then I became an adult and I promised myself I would never put my ass above my head intentionally again. And he's like, okay, fair enough. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I do woodworking. He's like, well, do that. And I was like, yeah, I don't really want to. And the thing was, type A's, everybody on this show's a type A. For the first time in my life, I didn't have control.
But Buddy's not.
Buddy.
But,
yeah,
okay, go ahead.
No, I get it. He's coattail type A. He's
whoa.
Hey,
we're gonna stop and pause to talk about me being a type A, but we're gonna skip right over the fact that he just said that he was a breakdancing rapper, and Dave didn't get anything about his rap career. Are we?
Well,
That's
Dave-
what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Dave,
Okay,
Dave, who was a
okay.
better rapper,
Just
you or Danny?
checking the standard.
Who was a better rapper, you or Danny? Let's hear it.
I don't know. Danny might have some skills.
Dude, can we hit a rap battle real quick? Is that a
Oh,
thing
dude,
that could
let's
happen?
do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We'll set
All
it
right,
up.
so-
On the show, I
okay.
want to get back to Danny's story because, and real quick, trash talkers, the fight starts within. You got to make that change and start it on your own. You know. So Danny, good call, man.
I'll tell you, I'll tell you the thing is, for specifically to what you just said, man, I'm in so everything I say is from Danny Bell, still being in, none of this opinion has anything to do with 160th, the Army, or any of that crap. So this is my story, my personal story, but, I'm in a company.
Sign a disclosure agreement.
Yeah, the disclosure, yeah.
We'll send it to you later. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a company where everybody's at the top of their game. For those who don't know what the 160th is, we're Premier Aviation. Anyway, so everybody there's at the top of their game. When I called Uncle, the main guy in our company, the standardization pilot, he's the guy, and the commander were the ones I talked to. And I was like, look, I don't really want everybody knowing what's going on, because after I come back from this, I don't want them second guessing me in combat. I don't want them going, hey, I don't know if I can trust that guy. So I was like, I'd like to keep this to myself. And so they honored that. They did a good job. But the guys in the company, we're still all male in our company. They were like, hey, where's Danny? But my standards guy was like, hey man, just go home, go be with your family, go home. They were amazing about that. Super supportive. So I got a lot of time at home, and I spent a lot of time in the basement doing woodworking, because after the psych was like, you need to do that, I finally bit the bullet. The first time in my life as a type A, I didn't have control of my body or my mind. Like, I'd be in the kitchen I realized 3 hours would go by and I couldn't catch my breath. Like something was bear hugging me, like blowing up. I'd hear an alarm go off in my house and it would get my blood rushing, and then I'd hear the kids scream and I'm like, quiet down, So it's like all those kind of eruptions start coming through at the house. And finally I was kind of bugging out. Well, once I went to the basement and started woodworking, I realized like 3 hours had passed by, and I'm like, man, holy shit, 3 hours just went by and I didn't even realize it. So that really started help digging me out of the hole. But the guys at work, they just knew I wasn't there. Not only did they know I wasn't there, but they saw me start posting stuff on Facebook about woodworking, and they kind of got the wrong idea that like this guy's just out, screwing off. So after I got back up, I got on meds and I got back up flying again, and I went back to those same guys in the company. I was like, hey, I just want to let you guys know what's going on. And when I explained to them everything, they all listened. The guys that were there, they listened. And then one guy was like, hey man, like, how do you know you're not going to be good again? Like, how do you know you're not going to go over there and freak out? And I'm like, well, he said, how do you know you're good now? I was like, well, because I knew I wasn't good when I wasn't. And now I'm telling you that I am good. So like, I'm the guy you want to trust with that. Because if I wasn't good, I'd tell you, because I did already. He's like, well, how do you know you're not going to, freak out again? I was like, well, how do you know you're not going to freak out? I'm like, I don't fucking know. But like, I know I'm good now. And if I say I'm good, I'm good. And then if we're over there and you freak out, like, it's the same deal. And he's like, yeah, all right, good point. The thing is all those dudes came up to me after, and like, they all kind of said somewhat of the same thing. Like, one dude was like, hey man, like, I really commend what you did. I think that's awesome. He's like, I kind of have the same issues. I just drink a lot, And
They
it's
all
like,
have issues, Danny. They just don't want to make the change. They're too scared,
Well, that, and it's a culture thing. It's a culture thing. It's everybody. See, the thing is, everybody has their own reason, their own demon, their own like. I'm not a big drinker. I never really have been, but I do. But it's not a thing I care about really. Some guys drink heavy. Some guys, whatever. Everybody does. Some guys just. I had one guy say, I can't have those problems. I'm Scottish. So it's like he's not allowed to have it because he's Scottish. So I was like, all right, cool. But at the end of the day, doing that, calling Uncle led me to doing woodworking more, which led me into the next thing, which was something called the Purple Heart Project. And there's a guy named Rob Cosman. He's from Canada. He's a civilian dude. And he's like a world-renowned dovetail hand tool woodworker. He does tours. You ever heard of like the Woodcraft stores? They're like a national chain of woodworking stores. And anyway, there's like 85 of them in North America, and he's taught at like 50 of them. So he went and taught at one. He was given lessons, and a vet took his class. Probably like the third day in, the vet was like, he's like crying at this dude's course, and he's like, "Hey, you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'll tell you what." He's like, I can live with this." And he's like, I don't follow. And he's like, "No, I was gonna kill myself." He said, "But like working with my hands," he's like I can do this. I can live with this. And he started connecting those dots. So he created the Purple Heart Project. He's Canadian dude. He lives in Canada, but 6 times a year he sponsors 7 combat wounded vets, Americans, Brits, Aussies, Canadians, but most
Gotta
of them
get
are
that plug,
Americans.
Danny. Can you name it again one more time? We gotta get
Yeah,
that.
so
plug. We'll put it on there.
it's a Purple Heart Project, and it's robcosman.com. He's not a nonprofit because he's Canadian, so he can't get an American. It's a weird whatever thing. But anyway, I got to, and it's for you qualify for it if you've got a Purple Heart, so a physical combat wound, or a mental, so PTSD, anxiety, or a TBI. So if you've got any of those and they're combat related, you basically apply online, and you're either qualify or you don't. It's not like a hierarchy of severity. So now that's how they fill the slots. So I applied 3 times before I got accepted because, I mean, damn it, if somebody's got a Purple Heart, they beat me, and that's good on it. Like, that's what they deserve, The point of it is that you got 6 civilians and 6 vets. The civilians pay like $4,000 to come to this course, and they know they're coming with vets, but they don't really understand what that means. And then the vets come, and everything is free to them. So a vet will apply, they get a scholarship. He pays for your airfare, he pays for your hotel while you stay there, and his family cooks food for you. And this is the key, he hands you $3,500 worth of like high quality hand tools, and he says, "These are your new tools, let me show you how to use them." So everybody who's coming there gets this whole suite of hand tools. And then you spend the week from 8:30 in the morning till 11 at night learning how to use these hand tools. He goes through sharpening, dovetailing, and all this stuff. I'm the only active duty guy in my class. There was a guy sitting next to me. His name was Kevin Burris, and he was an EOD tech. So he had been blown up over 150 times, and those were the ones he didn't get, the ones he couldn't fix. So like his spleen was in pieces, and he couldn't hear out of this ear, and he couldn't see in this field of view, and he was just all jacked up. And everybody there came guarded on the first day. It was funny because as the only active duty guy there, I'm not a vet. I haven't transitioned out, and I don't know what it's like to go isolate after. And I saw these guys come back, and it took a little while, but then they all kind of looked around and started realizing they were in company again. So it was like the dude with one leg, everybody's like, "Hey, get over here," and they start cutting up with each other and really kind of start reconnecting, and they realize they're in familiar territory. And now we're doing this thing that's like engaging, it's creative, it's working with your hands. And everybody just, you could feel the room just go like that. And everybody just like synced. That dude, Kevin Burris, was the same one of those stories. After the course, he wrote a review for the course on the website, and it said, "Hey, I decided I was going to take my own life." He's like, "I hadn't decided how I was going to do it yet." He said, "But this course saved my life." He's like, there's a lot of stuff out there for vets where guys will like go to Alaska on a fishing trip or go hunting or whatever. And he went on a few of those. He's like, "But this is the first time that I've learned a skill and was able to be given the tools to go home and continue that therapy on my own." So that I got to go to that, and it completely changed my life. That guy, Rob Cosman, actually came to Clarksville this past January to my store that I opened up by accident. Long story.
Yeah, we need to get him on. We need to.
Yeah, so absolutely. And he will. He absolutely will do this. But he's going to come back this January, and my job's to get as many combat wounded vets in front of him as I can. Dude, he cried no less than 10 times that week. He doesn't want it. The only thing he wants from the vets, because we were all there and we were all going like, this is great. This dude's amazing, but like, what's the catch? Everybody there was like, what's the catch? What's the catch? And then he's like, here's the catch. And he said, the only thing I ask of you is that we're going to give you a blue chip, which is a voucher. Like this is a tentative voucher. You go out and find another vet who needs this course. You give him your blue chip and he's a shoo-in. There's no assessment or there's no, process. Like that person's just in. So back to I opened a store by accident in Clarksville called the Hardwood Grove, and we sell kiln-dried lumber, and I do custom woodworking. So open a business, they said, during a pandemic. They said, while you're still active duty, they said it'd be all good. So it's been crazy in my life, but we're mimicking what Rob Cosman is doing. So I started a GoFundMe, and we're going to set up 6 hand tool workbenches at the store, and we want to equip those 6 workbenches with the full suite of hand tools. We're going to pay Rob Cosman full price for those tools so we can support his project, and we're going to keep those tools at the store, and we're going to do veteran outreach for free at the store for the same kind of stuff, where you sign up for like a month, and then the first week we go over sharpening, second week we go over how to cut dovetails, third week we'll make a box, and the fourth week is just kind of refinement, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what's going on. And I'll tell you, the woodworking is I was trying to figure out a cool stupid Army acronym name, because that's just what we have to do. And so I think we've come up with WAR, and that's woodworking as refuge. And I think we're going to make it a nonprofit so we can collect money for free and really kind of give as much as we can to vets.
Cheers to that, Danny. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, good shit, Danny.
Yeah,
Cheers.
Danny, that's definitely one of the coolest, most interesting forms of therapy through trade or through skills that we've heard on the show. That's if somebody can find peace in that and then actually get the skill set and the tools to do it, that's incredible. So that's not only is it a great thing, but that's extremely interesting. So
thanks, man. Well, if you think so, the cool part about it is it makes sense to military people, because there's a set of principles. Like, things have to be square. You have to be able to do this, and that. Like the principles, you have to measure. You have to. There's things you have to learn. There's rules or standards. And then the techniques that you achieve those standards, that's the artistry, that's the creativity, that's on you. So if you want to make a box, make a box. But do you make a box with dovetails? Do you make a box by doing this? Do you just, all of that is the creative side. And you could spend 3 weeks on just learning how to sharpen. And before you know it, you're really good at sharpening. So it's rewarding. And then you've got sharp tools, so you can make better quality stuff. And then the stuff you start making starts improving. And so Buddy and I talked about this. I think the real key is that people in the military peak in the military. They get to the point in their lives where they get out, and it's like you'll never have that level of responsibility, and you'll never have that level of adrenaline or exhilaration again. And so you get out. I had a guy come to the store and talk to me, because we do shop talks in the store where we open the store and people come in and talk. And the guy's like, he's like, I used to be in firefights, and he's like, I was like the guy everybody thought was crazy, because I'm having conversations and I'm shooting back and I'm going, and he's having fun during a firefight, and all his buddies are like, all right, dude, you need to chill out. He's like, and then I come back here, he's like, and I'm not even good enough to swap out brake master cylinders on a car. Like, they won't even give me that job. He's like, and I used to be responsible at this level, and now I can't even do that. So it's more than just like I peaked. It's like, I'm not even good enough to do these things anymore. So I think with something like woodworking, or really anything in general that we can do, is to try to help people realize, like, you're never going to peak. You just have to find the next thing. And so for me, expressing woodworking and sharing woodworking allows people to discover something new that they can spend the rest of their lives trying to perfect. And it allows them to keep moving forward, so that they never peak, because they can start getting better at that, and they can start even selling stuff or sharing that with others or their kids. So that's a big, good deal.
Well, yeah, like Joe said, you're not only gaining a talent, but you're also getting that therapy from it. So you're getting two for one, Yeah.
Hey, Danny. The first time we talked at out there at the Hall of Heroes, you talked about going to that class in Canada, and you're meeting with veterans that had gotten out, and you had your own demons that you were dealing with, but they told you that you didn't even understand what you didn't even know what you didn't know. That was like a pretty interesting story to me.
Yeah.
Well, would you share that with everybody else? I think it's really relevant.
Yeah, that was essentially the metaphor that one guy had talked to me about was, so everybody had a chance to go up and share their story and you didn't have to tell anything personal. It's just they gave you an opportunity to introduce yourself. If you wanted to say something, you could, to include all the civilians.
Hey, Danny, quick. Danny,
yep.
before you continue, Joe doesn't know what a metaphor is. What's a metaphor?
Oh, it's like
Thanks, Nick.
It's
like
for
when
explaining stories. Shut up, Nick.
It's a synonymogram is what it is. So anyway, so
sounds delicious.
Basically in my story, I was just like, look, I was like, I'm not here because I've got a problem with, shooting or the firefights and that part. I was like, that aspect doesn't bother me. I said, I'm here because I've had quite a few near misses in the helicopter where I've almost crashed and died, or, even being, RPGs and landing in firefights, not a big deal, but it's, flying over water and almost crashing and having to, anyway, a lot of that stuff. I can't talk about it, Bubba, so not on here.
We believe you, Danny. We just never believe Beck, when you're talking about how you can't talk about shit. We believe you, though, Danny.
Hey, we can't, Danny, we can't talk about our first meeting. Just keep it moving.
Okay.
Hey, all I'll say is Deb Grew takes a lot of credit for what Danny and I do. It's not a huge deal.
Well, they just write the books. Anyway, so I said, I don't have a problem with that stuff. I was like, I'm here because I've almost died in the helicopter a couple of times. So being in the cockpit makes me have panic attacks now, And so, I continued my story. Well, out of the other 5 vets that were there, I think 4 out of the 5 independently came up to me later, and they were like, hey man, not for nothing, but you don't know what you don't know. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? One guy said, he's like, look, like you still have to keep deploying. He's like, so you're not even thinking about this stuff. He's like, because you have to go back. So you're not processing anything. You're just continuing to move forward, and you just, whatever happens, you're going to deal with it, forget about it, and move on. I was like, yeah. He's like, but you're on the train right now. He's like, and as you continue on, like these things that they hit you, and they just like, they grab onto you, and they're flying behind you because you're moving forward with this train, and all this stuff kind of hits you along the way and you don't realize it, but it like attaches itself, parachute suspension lines behind you. And he's like, but then all of a sudden you get off the train, you're out of the Army, and the train rushes by you and continues, and then all this stuff you've been dragging kind of comes around and just surrounds you now. So now you're there. He's like, there's stuff that you don't even remember that you knew, or knew that you remembered. It just comes out of the woodwork for some reason. He's like, so they were like, don't push aside the fact that stuff doesn't bother you. Maybe it just doesn't bother you right now. And I took it to heart, and I didn't just kind of brush it off, but it really made me remember something or think about something this way. Being active duty, nobody talks to us while we're in about getting out. And, I heard one of the guys say they teach you how to go to war and they don't teach you how to live with it. So that's the biggest thing that I see that we set ourselves up for failure for, is because it's not that we set ourselves up for failure. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know that when you get out, you isolate yourself. And now if you go back to where you came from and you don't stick around a military town, you're now surrounded by people who don't even speak the same language as you. They haven't gone through the same experiences as you. So even if you wanted to communicate with them, they wouldn't understand what you're saying. So why even try? Because if they're not going to get it, it's really worth exposing yourself. So I'm just going to kind of sit here in my house, and so knowing that that's possibly what's coming for me, I decided to kind of spearhead that and like try to preemptively make myself do something else so that I don't peak in the military. I think that's what I keep going back to is for me, I don't want to get to the point where I felt like the best part of my life is behind me. And all I do now is like live in a world where nobody understands me. So something that I'm doing, I was going to do this before AIDS hit, chest AIDS, COVID. And, but I asked the commander if he would care. So I'm going to have a conversation with the guys in our company, really our battalion. I'm going to be in uniform and I'm going to basically tell them my story. And I'm going to say, look, I'm a CW2. I was like, but I was a PV2 sitting in that chair in this unit. I've done almost every functional line job that we can do here. I've been I've been an instructor, I've been and I've been you. And what I'm telling you is that you have to take care of yourself now. It doesn't matter if you realize it bothers you or not. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't mean you have to call uncle and go, hey, psych, I've got problems. But it does mean that you need to find somebody and something that you can bounce ideas off of and call and say you're frustrated or like, hey,
100%,
I want to
100%.
fucking kill myself right now,
So
So
Danny,
that's
I
a
think
key thing.
I think you literally hit on everything that our entire community is about, to include our page, providing an outlet for everybody. Because once you make that step out, and Joe's been through it, Nick and Beck and myself haven't been through it yet, but, Joe can maybe add to it. Once you make that step out, it's a whole new beginning. You don't have the military pushing you for that next higher thing, that next cool thing that you're doing, and which is keeping the train moving. And then you get out and it just freaking stops. And then you're in this brand new world, and that's what our page is about, man. Just providing that outlet, for everybody to just come in and talk shit. Because like you said, that brotherhood, that language, your civilian counterparts don't understand that. Your best friend that you might have grown up with does not understand the language of the brotherhood, so
not to mention when everybody's beating the war drum and loving the military, and that's all great, and they post this and they post that. When you get out, bro, you're a civilian. Point blank, period. It ain't gonna cut you any favors. It ain't gonna cut you any angles, unless you got things set up and are absolutely lined up. And usually that's done on your own merit. It's not done because you're a veteran. But
he's doing right now. He's transitioning right into it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you don't do it yourself or put those steps in motion, which I know both of you guys will, and Danny is, but a lot of guys don't do that. And this thing hits them like a ton of bricks. And I actually, and I'll go ahead and say this. I told Maya, we were talking about, I said, man, I'm happy that we got this thing, and I hope we keep it going for as long as possible, because what better thing for Nick and Dave to have when they get out than to have this connection to the military still stay so present and so prevalent in their lives, because it will make transitioning a lot easier, to be able to keep in touch with that community, and persist on with what we're doing. But yeah, it's awesome, Danny. I hope that a lot of people watch this and a lot of people pay attention to it, because what you're doing is really important.
Well, thank you. And it's funny, man, because it's a struggle, and everything that we do, a lot of it, I'm kind of doing. Like, I'm doing the social media posts. I'm doing stupid live feeds on Facebook where people listen to me ramble. I'm doing the woodworking. I'm doing all the things. And I'm also still trying to, honor the military, that I'm still trying to, get out gracefully without burning bridges on my way out. But it's tough, and I still struggle with the stuff that I struggle with. But I think what you're saying is true, is that this thing is something that I'm just learning about, the transition out and getting out and trying to do things on my own merit. And I think the key is that I have to be prepared for, if this fails and I screw all this up, that I still have a reason. There's still a reason, and we had a kid killed herself about 2.5-3 months ago. And it was funny. I already talked to the commander about doing the talk, and then we lost that soldier. And it's just wild, because I think the thing is that the leaders, like when I came back as a pilot, the dudes that I had trained are now E7s and first sergeants, or E7s. And so now I'm back as a W2, which really means that nobody really knows where I am most of the time. That's a joke. But those guys,
as long as your cap's on your desk, right?
Yeah,
As long as
yeah.
that's there,
Well,
you're at work. So, yeah.
the thing is, I'm always walking around, and I've always got a green army book with a pen in it. And if you walk fast, nobody questions you. You know.
Nope. You're always on a mission.
Yeah, so, but no, the thing is, those leaders, a lot of people don't have problems, and especially in aviation, I guess that's specific to us. Like, we've got a lot of support guys who do amazing stuff to keep aircraft rolling, and they're stuck in their shops, and they come out and they bust their ass.
12 hours of sleep that you guys are authorized a day.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, man. Like, we'll rotate out and we'll bring a helicopter out, and those maintenance dudes, they'll be up for 36 hours. Kicking ass, because we'll tear aircraft down, and then we'll tear and build another one up, and they got to make sure it's ready to go because we have to transition, seamlessly. And so those people are unsung heroes, and they're not a part of the sexy mission. They don't go out and they don't get to shoot people in the face with a minigun. But they are important. The whole, like, your importance has no relevance to your proximity to the objective. Like, no matter where you are, what you're doing is important. But those people will kind of slip through the cracks because they're not recognized. And don't even get me started on military awards, because I'll get fired on this.
Yeah. That, I'm gonna remain silent. Also, that's what that master's degree we talked about earlier.
Yeah. So, but I will tell you this. From my perspective, I get the honor now to make things with my hands, people, and buddy, can we talk about the table or?
Yeah, man. Yeah, go ahead. And I can't wait to meet up next week to really talk about it. But yeah.
Yeah. So buddy hit me up to do a table, and so we're doing a gold star table, and I really, so he has 4 slabs that we're gonna link up. Are you guys familiar with
everything? Hey, real quick, shout out to Gold Star and everything that they do. Fucking phenomenal shit, man.
Yep. So he wants, so actually shout out to Fifth Group for this, because that was something that I think most Army units, I think historically could do better, but I don't know. I've never been in every Army unit. I know 160th is pretty good about it, and I can tell you that I witnessed that Fifth Group's damn good about it. But this Hall of Heroes that they've got a whole section they're starting up for the Gold Star families. There's this room, and so we're going to make this long conference table. We're trying to figure out how to make this thing and make it relevant and make it and pay homage to the families who are left behind in this process. And so we were like, well, why don't reach out to the families themselves and see if they've got any ideas. And if I remember, or if I interpreted correctly what you were saying, buddy, I think what one of the families said is that they heard it's a river table and they could take river stones and paint gold stars on them. Is that what you were saying, buddy?
No. So one of our deputy commander, his wife found some river rocks that had gold stars engraved in them, and they wanted to use those, and then that kind of morphed into the river, and then the idea that we were talking about the other day. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the idea came, and this was Buddy's idea. Basically, we're going to have a river of epoxy going down the center. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the epoxy river tables, but that's kind of the jam, and that's what I've been really focusing heavily on. But we're going to have a river going down the center of the table, and we'll have those gold star stones in the center. And basically, as the river goes through those stones, it gets incredibly turbulent, like rapids, and it gets crazy and chaotic and just chaos. And then as it transitions past those rocks, it's going to settle out, not into calm rivers, not into calm waters again, but it's going to settle out into turbulent, but still moving forward. And so that thing is going to be amazing. And it's cool because I gone from being in a hole to not being able to breathe, to woodworking, to going to this thing, and now starting a business and trying to run this thing, to meeting Buddy, and now we're going to do this thing together. My little brother was in Fifth Group, and it's pretty cool to kind of be able to contribute to that way. So
it is awesome that your little brother made it to the big leagues. Not everybody can play, but and you almost, the 160th is, you guys have the best coffee.
we do have the best coffee, and he. Oh man, I could get so crazy right now.
Do it.
Do it. Go for it.
Do it.
I mean, I'm just
Buddy's
saying.
used to it. He gets beat every week on this show.
That's what Buddy did in Spiker. He just drank a lot of coffee,
Yeah.
So now he's talking about more coffee. Come on, Buddy. Get with the program.
Not true. I did a lot of salsa dancing also. So
He still has a Samara coffee being
salsa
hard.
dancing, and you know how hard it is to get an entire company's worth of movies on 1 terabyte hard drive, and not have duplicates.
Or to get that
Talk
last.
about PTSD. Talk about
Next
PTSD,
time.
buddy. Right there is a
Yeah.
story for PTSD. I mean, gosh,
Or
you
when
probably just
Hey, we
you
all have
panic
our own
every
demons,
time.
man. It's all good. It's okay, Nick. Like, we can all have, different types
You know
of
how hard it
demons.
is to get all those stars punched at the Samara coffee bean on your card to get a free one?
It's called the green bean, idiot. It's a green
Oh,
bean.
excuse me.
Sorry, Joe.
Excuse me.
Didn't
Oh,
know the
I didn't
term.
get the-
did we,
I didn't get the-
did we trigger Buddy? We must have triggered Buddy. He's in
I didn't get the
name-calling
list of
now.
restaurants that
Yeah.
you guys had access to either. I'm sorry.
It was
Yeah,
right by the Chili's and the Denny's.
Yeah, you know you won the argument when the person starts calling you names. So good job, Joe. I don't think you've triggered anybody on this show, and you just got Buddy. You got him pretty good. So he's triggered
Thanks,
right now.
Nick.
Yeah, it's a big win. It's a big win today.
Funny story is that I do have a green beans hat in my house. I'd go there, but I'm not allowed, as Joe knows. Definitely took that from a green bean.
That's all you got.
That was his stealth mission. That was his secret mission that he did. He took the hat.
Hey, but
from the
Danny, give us the name of your company
True.
again. Give us that plug of the name of your company. And like I said, I texted Buddy, but he'll probably forget with drinking all that cordial. But
I mean, I'm currently. I don't know if you know this, Nick, but I'm currently on a show, so I can't really send you the link.
I'm just saying you'll forget.
I'm busy.
You'll forget afterwards.
I'm
I
busy
asked for
at
Dan's
my-
bio
at
like
my
a week and a half
job.
ago, and I got it yesterday.
You
So
called
that was
me.
cool.
We're on the same show, so
Right. I'm just saying after the show, Dan, send Buddy a picture of your company that I can edit and put on the video. That way people will see it.
Awesome.
But say the name one more time.
Yeah, it's the Hardwood Grove, and it's on 2535 Madison Street in Clarksville. That's
Okay.
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about this woodworking, and so I had to leave the camera for a second. But you check this thing out right here.
That's why Buddy's so excited. I'm just gonna leave it at
Nice.
that.
I
Yeah,
made,
look
I
at
made,
that. Look at that thing Nick's holding up that he bought. That's
I know,
that's
I made this in sixth grade. I made this in
Nice.
sixth grade. So I just wanted the
It's
woodworking.
great.
I guess it's sanded in, everything is smooth. It's really good. It's real nice.
Nice.
But that was my sixth grade woodworking project. This is about all I got for that. So are we
Love
pretty much like on the same level now, or no?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. We're gonna
Okay.
be sharing the same bench here in a few.
Okay, that'll help me sleep better at night.
The
I
funny
always have
thing
to
is
try
that-
to.
I really wonder how many messages Danny gets after he talks about woodworking from everybody that he talks to that like put 2 sticks together with some wood glue, and they're like, "Yo, bro, look at my thing. I just built this, bro. Look at this wood.
Buddy,
look at this
he got
birdhouse I
messages
built."
from guys like you. We know. That's how you met.
Oh, he's got.
No, actually,
And it's okay, buddy.
Actually,
It's okay.
it's okay.
It's seriously-
It's okay.
It's okay.
Buddy, we're not
this
judging
is how
you.
it goes. It's a hey, so I did the hang on. Hang on a second. I'm just trying to find the picture that Hang on.
The crappy thing
That's what
is,
it is
that
now.
one of the first times we met, that was actually what I did. I was like, wait a second, I got some stuff. I did some stuff, bro. Hold on. Look, I put screws in this wood.
I've
Now
never had an expert's opinion on my clock, buddy. I just wanted to see what he thought about it. Like, I've never had a woodworker actually look at my clock, so I'm pretty sure he's going to hire me after this show, and I'll make sure I'll take your company to the next level. I can do that anytime.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. That oak you have there is some solid looking oak.
Yeah,
And,
I don't know what kind
if
of
I
wood it is.
Look at Buddy smiling.
it's so inspiring because if I had another rap album again, I would name it after that clock, and it would be called Deciduous Lignans. And people don't need to tell me how the clock works; just tell me what time it is. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's all that matters. But we will set up a rap battle.
God, if we could get a rap battle between Danny and Dave, I swear to God.
Yeah, we'll come up with the rules for that later, and then we're definitely going to do that. That's going to happen. We do a lot of dumb shit on Trash Talk. I don't know if people watching, make sure you go on our YouTube channel and watch the Toe of Satan challenge.
Danny, I don't know where you're going to get your material to rap battle with Dave, the recruiter, from, but it's going to be hard.
See, the thing is I'm a true MC, so I don't pre-write anything.
Same. We'll have to do it on a live.
Yeah, you just gotta be,
exactly.
you gotta be careful, Danny. He was a rapper in Germany, so he can rap like in 7 different languages. So you gotta
be busting.
I did some stuff here too, and I did some stuff here in the U.S. and I was on a mixtape with 8 Ball and everything, MJG, and I almost got a record deal here in the U.S. But we're not even gonna talk about it. But Danny, we're gonna figure it out.
You just did.
Wow, I almost got a record deal.
I almost got a record deal too, guys.
Almost.
Hey, Danny, by the way, I can bench 400 pounds almost. Just the down part.
Not a huge deal. I went to a vinyl store the other day. I almost made a deal too.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, you're going to be on the rap battle as well. We'll figure out the, dynamics of everything here after the show.
Well, yeah, you could be the host. Hey, Buddy will be the host of it. Yeah, I'll record it. Buddy could be the host. Joe could be the judge. And then maybe we'll bring a guest judge on. So I think that'll all work out. That'll be perfect. Let me get into my little soapbox here. It's not a long one. We've already surpassed the hour, but it was great stuff, Danny. You hit a lot of the things that we want to talk about on the show. It's the demons inside of us. If we can get it out, then all of us can crush it together. That's the main thing we're trying to do. Again, I've been walking around the house, with my chest out a little bit because, we're movie stars now. That's one. That's super cool. We can't really talk about it yet because we signed this agreement that says we can't talk about it.
Real secret shit. Not Buddy
real
Beck
secret shit. But so that was super cool. And then also with the NFL, like Joe talked about earlier, that's something that I'm wearing this jersey. I got this jersey. It's Aaron Jones. All right, Aaron Jones is the running back for the Green Bay Packers. He scored a touchdown today. Yeah, he went to the Yale of the Southwest, which is UTEP. That's where I go up currently getting my master's, and which is, like I said, the Yale of the Southwest. Again, everybody can hear that. But his parents worked at the Sergeant Major's Academy, and he is a great person. And why would I boycott somebody like that? It's just dumb. Like that kid has busted his butt. And he's made it from one of the smallest colleges in the country, and as far as like football goes, and it's a pleasure to watch him play. And knowing that the message that he sends out, whether I agree with it or not, like at what freaking point in this country do I have to have the same freaking message as you, right? Like we will never, grow as a society if we all think the same way. The Germans tried that. Dave knows. They all thought the same way. All right, and then they lost. Right? Like, so it's just, why would we do that? Why in the world? Like, I love that Buddy Beckwith, can't read good. That's fine. He is a different person that I have in my life that if I need a joke or something, that I can go to Buddy because Buddy's going to give me that joke. Right? Because he's a funny dude. I'm not going to Buddy to edit my paper. Like, that's not happening. I'm going to send that to somebody else.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do a very good job of it.
Yeah. Go on with that is exactly what Buddy said earlier with the way the NCOs promote. And I'll say it, we're gonna have the old SEAC on here in a little bit. But it's stupid. I'm literally doing everything that Buddy despises for NCOs to do to get promoted. So I am going to get my master's. I'm doing that so that I can get promoted. I got my bachelor's so I can get freaking promoted. When I was an RI, I was like, might as well finish my bachelor's because I got time. So I did it. That being said, I have a good friend from Buddy Beckwith's territory, Mississippi. You know that area right next to Alabama. Both 48th, 49th in education. Really solid states, right? So
but Alabama's 48.
Oh,
Wait
a minute, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
wait a minute.
we had this guy.
When did North Carolina get out of that?
Yeah, I think
thought
North
we were
Carolina's 47 now. I think North Carolina actually might be 50th.
Holy shit!
But,
They went
Pretty
up
sure
two.
they're 50.
Yeah, they might be
close.
50, Joe.
Possible.
But Joe's not from North Carolina. He's from Michigan. That's not a big deal. He knows what a metaphor is and maybe even what a haiku is. But we'll talk about that on a differerent show.
Isn't haiku
sweet?
what?
It's a
that's
Swedish
how Japanese
donut.
people say hello.
Yeah. Hey Garth, that was a haiku.
It's a Swedish donut.
Yeah. The thing about it is I had this buddy of mine, and he just graduated Sergeant Major's Academy, and I remember a couple of years ago, he's sitting there. We're down in Florida at Camp Rudder, and he's all of a sudden I hear King. I said his name, King. That's his name. Crap. Anyways, I'll edit that out. So he goes, "Oh, what the fuck?" You know, in his accent. You know, and I was like, his buddy Beckwith accent. I'm like, and he never yelled or never said anything like that. I go back there. I was like, "What's up, man?" And he goes, "Did you read this bullshit about MLC?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "They want you to motherfucking write APA style to be a sergeant major?" And he's like, "You do realize to be a master sergeant?" He's like, I'm a mortarman. I hang rounds. Like, why the fuck do I need to write a paper? And he's like, "Oh, and by the way, now you're saying I have to go to college." He's like, "But I have 18 years in the Army. If I go to college and now I have a degree with 18 years in the Army, I'm just as good as a fucking major. And you're going to pay me an extra $400 a month to be in the 8? You can keep that shit." That's exactly what he said to me. That was just probably one of the funniest things I heard. But yeah, it is a little strange that education is never bad. However, in the combat world, right, we need NCOs to be able to fight. We need them to make decisions on the spot, and we need to make sure that they know every weapon system, the ranges of everything. To be skilled as a pathfinder, to be skilled as an air assault guy, stuff like that. That's what we need NCOs to do. We don't need them to be think tanks. That's what majors do. That's what we pay them to do. But yeah, that's my short little soapbox. It is like education never hurts, but again, we got to win wars. And writing an APA style paper, not going to win a war. Having a sergeant major that keeps his guys in line and makes sure that the metal gets hit, and making sure that he can give the pulse to the commander about how his men can do things and what they can't do, making sure his guys get the combat schoolings they need. All this stuff a sergeant major probably should do, which all my good ones did for me. That's what we need them for. I don't need them to write a haiku. Like, that's like, good on you, man. Like, here's your paper on whatever. Pretty stupid. That being said, I'll close this out. I just want to, thank Danny one more time for coming on, and thank Ventura Training and Athletics. They're our sponsor as well. So get on our website, get on our page, get on our everything, get on our YouTube, subscribe, and then order some shirts, get some hats, because it takes money to do shit. So give us money so we can do bigger and better things. The Ventura Training Athletics, again, they're going to fix your body, right? And so once they fix your body, and once people start working on your mind, then you can start being, a proactive member of society and being, kicking ass and taking names. Put in that VTT code at 10th Mountain Distillery. So get on 10th Mountain Distillery, put in VTT, you get a discount, and it's really good bourbon. Apparently the cordial's fantastic. So I haven't tried that. I'll probably try it.
It's not fantastic. It's not. It's super bad.
Yeah. Buddy says it's terrible, so that we can just send it all to him and he'll get rid of it.
It's horrible. Send it to me. Also, before you close out, Nick, I do want to say thank you for riding my coattails on today's Honesty Cap for your entire spiel. Not a huge deal. You couldn't come up with something original, but that's great. Whatever. You're good.
I put it into northern terms so smarter people could understand it and actually action it. So your idea was awesome. I just made sure that people could do something.
You just took the slang off of it so we could reach our geographical footprint as far as people understand.
And that's why you got that big education, buddy.
Yeah, big brain. Big brain.
You do stuff like that.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, it was an absolute pleasure. Next week, we have the guys from Poly Road Whiskey in Hawaii, a distillery. They're going to come on and talk about their operation. It's going to be a great time. So see you guys all next week.